Hi YouTube, AC Dodd here again, and this time we're going to look at carb springs and moreover how to measure them to make sure that your spring is actually doing what it should do and it's not old and collapsed. Let's get stuck in. So I don't expect this video to be long, but because it's it's quite easy to check these, but the most important thing is check them against what? Well, SU actually produce a nice table, so in the parts manual. So for people that have been out on the road tuning, I usually have these available and I give them out to people as a freebie. I don't always remember, so apologies for those who haven't got one, but I do have these with me when I'm out. But in this lovely catalogue provided by SU, Berlin Fuel Systems, they actually have the specifications of the spring. So what I'm going to do now is just put that up on the screen. And now, obviously, all the spring rates are given with the appropriate check lengths. So a spring is rated at a certain depression. Okay, so for the type B spring, which is this larger diameter, the check length is going to be 1.53 inches. So what that basically means is we compress the spring to 1.53 inches and then we measure the force it's producing at that set length. So what we need to do is we need a little jig. So let's go over and have a look at what I use. So we're over at the pillar drill and I'm just using this as a convenient jig. I've got a cheap scale here which works very well, just a little battery powered one, and up in the chuck I've just got this is a QMax colour, but you can use anything, just to give a nice flat surface of the right size. And then what we do is we set the distance between the mandrel and the scale to be 1.53. Now the quick-witted of you will quickly realise that this table on the scale will move down slightly. So what you actually have to do is put a spring in there and then set the height. And I set the height with a pair of dividers. And they look like these. So I set these, the distance between those two ends using a vernier caliper. And then I set up the distance between there and there with the spring in there to be exactly the 1.53 inches. Then what we do is obviously we don't take a reading because that's just setting the load on the weighing machine to give us the force reading. So then what we do is we set the pillar drill so it's obviously can't go down any further than that, and then we take the scale out, obviously make sure that's on, and we get our spring that we're going to test, and we put the spring on the scale. But as you can see, obviously it's going to read the weight of the spring, so we need to tear that off. Okay, and then once we do that, we put the whole lot under the chuck and then we test it. So with the assembly under, we just pull the handle down until it hits the stop, which is there, and we take a reading. And if we look there, 4.5 ounces. That is bang on, and that's because that is a decent brand new spring. So what I've now done is I've taken the new spring out and I've replaced it with one of the worn ones that I've taken out of my scrap bin, and obviously I've done the same. I've teared that off, so that's 0. So now we'll move that down until we get to the same test height, and we can see that that's only delivering 4.05. So that spring is half an ounce under what it should be delivering. What we'll do now is we'll quickly check, and we'll add another one out of my scrap bin, and we'll check to make sure. You see that slightly difference in weight, so we'll tear that off again, and then we'll go down to the same height and we'll check that one, and that one's even worse. And that is why you need to check your springs before you actually use them. So I hear, what about other springs, I hear you ask? Well, here's a yellow spring. So this is a new one, and this is rated at the same 1.53 inches, and the spec calls for 8 ounces at the test length. As we can see there, That one is almost spot on, which is perfect. So what does a worn yellow one look like? Well, again, this is out of my scrap bin. I've teared that off. Let's take it down to the same setting. That one, that's not too bad. So that's 7.8. So even though that one is only a little bit off, I scrapped it purely because I didn't like the colour of that one. So the carburetor got a new one in. But all I'm saying here is this is how you check them, all right? And they're checked by using a measurement process. So hopefully you found that useful in how to check your springs. Now clearly I only showed the HIF type spring, but there's also the smaller diameter type A spring, which is used in the HS carburetors. That can be tested in a similar manner. The only difference is that spring's a lot longer. So what you may need to do is use a tube to support that while you test it, because it will tend to bend in its operation. So I'll leave you guys to work out how to do that. But the point is you test it in the same way by going to a set length. You use the parts manual there, which gives you the test lengths for all those smaller type A springs. And then you can obviously make your jig up and test them in the same way. Now, some people might not have a pillar drill, but you'll have to use your imagination. But I use the pillar drill purely because I have one, and it's very, very easy to use for that application. You don't actually need a particularly expensive pillar drill either. A little small basic one will do the job just as well. I highly recommend you investing in a pillar drill, because they have many uses, but one of which is you can use them for doing this sort of measurement, which obviously makes your life easier. Now the other thing to mention is not all springs are equal, and that includes new ones. So there is production tolerances on these, and they do vary batch to batch. But my point is, if you build a carburetor, then at least if you start with a known spring of the right rating, then you obviously know who you are. Now, if you change a spring in a carburetor and you change it for the same type but a newer one, as we've seen, it can have a significantly different weight. And therefore that will cause more depression over the jet, which will cause your given needle to be richer. So just bear that in mind. The other thing is, if you buy 5 or 6 different springs and you fit them in different carburetors and they've all got tolerance variations on, you will clearly get different mixture readings, and different mixture readings even with the same needle and the same springs. Okay, so the same red spring, for example, but if you've got 6 of them, because of the variances in production, you will get variances in the fueling between needles. There's also variance in needles, which will also give you more variance in the fueling. And this is exactly why you can't just go out and get a red spring and a whatever it is needle and then try that in 6 different cars and all get the same fueling. It just doesn't happen. Okay, so the important thing to understand is, if your car is now running very lean, for example, and you take your original spring out and it's all compressed and the readings, the force readings are much lower, just by putting a new spring in can actually restore some of that fueling to improve the way the car drives. So it is thoroughly recommended, and it's one of the things that I always do when we're out on the road and I'm tuning. If I'm coming to tune the car and I look at it and it's very bad, I'll usually take it out and find the springs crushed, put a new one in. That automatically gets me certainly a bit closer to where I need to be, and then I can adjust the needle from there. So it's one of those things that's very overlooked. A lot of people are driving around with 40 or 50-year-old springs which are like this because they've just fatigued over a period of time. Springs are very good at what they do, but one thing they're not good at is resisting fatigue over many years of being compressed. And when they're in an SU carburetor, they are compressed their whole life and they relax. So it is something to bear in mind that I would even recommend that if you have your car serviced and tuned with a new spring, then perhaps every few years fit a new spring. Obviously check the calibration to maintain the way that engine runs. So hopefully you found this useful. just to give you a little idea of how I check springs and how you can check springs. There are many ways to do it. You can have a very expensive spring force measuring machine. You don't need to do that. As I've seen here, I've got a very cheap gauge there that works very well for doing this, gives me the factory figures that I need. And as I say, not an expensive thing to do, but it has to be done in the right manner to give you some repeatable readings. So with all that being said, hopefully you found this useful, and as ever, I'll see you on the next one. Thank you very much.